I'm very stressed by this situation. It's given me sleepless nights.
Was the ANC's coalition with the DA really a betrayal of the National Democratic Revolution? Or was it a carefully planned strategic move that could see the ANC regain full control while outmaneuvering the DA? Let's break it down here on Heads Up SA. Ever since the ANC announced its coalition, the so-called Government of National Unity with the DA and other small parties, the backlash has been massive. ANC members, alliance partners like the SACP and COSATU, and opposition parties have all criticized the move as a betrayal of the liberation movement.
I think they will be judged harshly by history, and I call on history to judge them badly. For the betrayal of our people. This is a betrayal, Sizwe. It cannot be entertained in any political decorations.
Even President Cyril Ramaphosa himself has admitted that this coalition was a strategic setback. But what if this setback is actually a long-term power move? The first question we need to answer is, why would the ANC, knowing very well that the DA stands against transformation policies, choose them as a coalition partner? Well, let's go back before the elections. The ANC knew they were going to drop below 50%. I mean, some leaders even admitted that the party needed to fall in order to renew itself.
The ANC has the possibility to renew itself, but that would take lots of courage. And failing that, it has to hit rock bottom. It has to lose elections for a penny to drop.
Would you like to see, hang on, that's so important. Would you like to see the ANC lose the next, would it be good for South Africa if it lost the next election?
For as long as it is associated with corruption and failure, people will vote it out.
Would it be good for South Africa if it were voted out?
It will be good for the ANC itself.
Now, while the DA was actively working towards this coalition by helping fund small parties to weaken the ANC was also planning for the worst case scenario. But the real chess move was not just picking the DA, but where the DA was placed in government. The ANC allowed DA to have its ministerial positions
themselves. They wanted DTI with deadlocked. But these positions, we didn't give them. They chose them. And then we wouldn't leave basic education to the DA. We didn't leave public works to the DA. All positions in the GNU are critical. But you see, because you are an honest partner, you can't fool the people of South Africa and say you came with what is this thing? A concept coined GNU in order to manage South Africans. And then you go and give people positions in the GNU that are less meaningful.
But there's something very interesting about the ministries they occupy. Let's take a look at three key departments controlled by the DA. Public Works, which is ministered by Dean McPherson, in charge of implementing the Land Expropriation Act. Agriculture, led by John Steenhuisen, the DA president, which must assist in land redistribution efforts. Basic Education Minister Khwarube is responsible for implementing the Bella Act. Now, here is where the trap is set. These bills were already passed before the elections and the DA was strongly against them. But now as ministers, they are legally obligated to implement them, whether they or their party like it or not.
There's no DA minister in the GNU. It's ministers who must conduct themselves in terms of the prescripts of the law.
DA ministers came into government eager to prove that they could govern better. They even introduced self-imposed scorecards to track their performance. But now, thanks to the ANC's timing, their performance will be judged on whether they implement laws they actually oppose. And if they don't, ANC has every right to hold them accountable, meaning Cyril Ramaphosa can fire them. Here is where it gets even more interesting. The DA, being the DA, will likely rush to the Constitutional Court to challenge these bills, but guess what? They already lost when these laws were passed. The court is unlikely going to overturn them now. So what happens next? The ANC fires DA ministers for failing to implement the law. Will the DA leave the GNU? Probably not. Why? Because they've tested power and now they won't want to give it up so easily.
There is no law of DA. There's a law of South Africa. Whether you like it or not, you are a minister, you must implement it or resign. They won't resign because they love positions. All of them, they like positions. Even when positions, they don't know what to do with those positions.
So does this mean the ANC is slowly setting itself up to enforce the Freedom Charter using the law? Are we seeing an ANC move to eventually reunite with the EFF and MK party? Because let's not forget, both of these parties come from the ANC and share the same ideological foundation. Is Cyril Ramaphosa leading the ANC into a masterstroke that will sideline the DA and bring the liberation movement back together? We wait and see. What do you think? Is the ANC outplaying the DA in this coalition, or is this just wishful thinking? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share and subscribe to Heads Up SA for more deep political analysis. Keep your heads up, SA.